this gentleman is, I can't wait to read his book. He is like an incredible, whenever I see him on TV, I mean, it's just like I know I'm going to learn something. And I'm talking about Bakari Sellers, a former South Carolina state representative, MSNBC contributor. He's got a new book, My Vanishing Country, which speaks to all these issues. Saw you on TV all weekend on every network. And I got to say, man, I cannot wait to read this book. And just listening to you talk about your book, it's just something, it's perfect timing for us to kind of understand where we're going. Good morning. How you doing, Bakari?
Man, I'm doing well. With everything going on in the world right now. I'm just hugging my children tightly and trying to navigate this country being black in America.
Can I also say that I saw you get very emotional on TV the other day, and that was it was wonderful because I felt your pain, and I teared up watching you in pain. And I think if more of us could see that and know that it's okay. I
was on right after the brother of George Floyd, and watching the pain of that family, and just thinking about, my father's generation. It starts, and I talk about this in my book. It starts back with Emmett Till. In 1955, it goes to Jimmy Lee Jackson, it's Medgar Evers, etc. But you think about George Floyd and think about Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. And I struggled with raising black children in this country. It's a perpetual sense of grief being black. It's a perpetual sense of trauma. And how am I going to raise them? Because there is I'm literally on TV one morning, and they arrest Omar Jimenez, who is a reporter with us at CNN. And he's doing everything the right way, and your heart beats, and it beats fast and rapidly because you don't want him to be the next statistic. And raising children in this country is just tough, and I struggle with what to tell them other than the truth. And it's a hard plight, being parents of black children.
Yeah. Because when you're doing something that when you're actually seeing a crime committed, and when you see all the people in the street and what's been happening around the country, Bakari, can you see that there are outsiders that are coming in and really stoking the fires? Do you see that, or are you seeing something different?
Yeah, I do. I think that you have people who are marching with righteous anger, and then you have individuals who want to co-opt that movement. And anyone who wants to be in the streets filled with righteous anger, please go, let your voices be heard. But this is one thing I caution everybody on. Do not tell us to go home. Do not ask for peace if you're not also asking for justice in the same sentence. Do not say go home and just wait until November and go and just wait to vote, because people are tired of that. At that rate, if we just go wait until November, at the rate they're going right now, that's at least 5, 6, 7 more black bodies that will lay dead in the street. We need we need people to talk about tangible solutions for us. And I'm talking about lowering the bar for federal civil rights cases so that we can actually prosecute some of these cops. I'm talking about limiting qualified immunity so that we can make sure that they can't hide behind a shield when we sue them, or a national database of bad officers, because right now you can get fired from one department and just go 2 towns down and get hired. Right. I don't want people to tell me to go home and just vote. I want people to offer solutions, because justice has to be a verb in this country. It can't just be a noun.
I love that. One of the things that I'm finding interesting is that we have an absence of leadership coming from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And I'm trying to tell people, tamper down your expectations for this president actually coming out and saying something that would be calming. Are you appalled, or are you expected the non-response from the White House?
I'm thankful. I think
I was going to say that.
I think sometimes we get caught up. I'm thankful. What is he going to say? And, many times when the house is on fire, you don't want to hear from the arsonists. And I'm. This is my point. Like, if you're going to be a leader in this moment, you have to have a sense of empathy, so you can put yourself in the shoes of Floyd, Breonna Taylor, of Ahmaud Arbery. Right? You have to have a sense of compassion, so you can reach out to your neighbor and say, "We're going to get through this together." You have to have a sense of humanity, understanding that you see the value in every life. Every life matters. Those are 3 attributes this man ain't got.
Yeah.
And so we're fine. We're fine. Let him get in his bunker. And they turned the lights off last night. I don't know if you were watching CNN last night, but they turned the lights off in the White House. Like when you run out of Halloween candy. When you run out of Halloween candy and turn your lights off.
We're talking to Bakari Sellers, and of course, hopefully his book, My Vanishing Country, will become a bestseller. It's refreshing watching you and speaking clearly, because you have a history of activism in this country. I mean, it started with your father. And go ahead.
Yeah, no, first, I am with CNN. I was able to do MSNBC, for a one-off. They gave us permission to go over there to talk about the book, and I'm grateful, and I love the work that Joy and Reed does. But I talk about this in my book, In My Vanishing Country. My father, February 8th, 1968, on the campus of South Carolina State College, was shot with 28 others. I mean, my father was literally shot by law enforcement. 3 people were killed: Henry Smith, Samuel Hammond, and Delano Middleton. Not only did they shoot my father, but they actually arrested my father. He was a member of SNCC. And all the officers who fired shots into the group of students, wounding 28, 29, and killing 3, they were all charged, they were all tried, they were all found not guilty. They charged, tried, and convicted my father of rioting. He became the first and only one-man riot in the history of this country. Wow. And I talk about the fact that on that night in justice, it left mothers without their sons. It left the pages of my state's history stained red with blood. But it also left my sister born without her father, because my sister was born while my father was in prison. And the first time she got a chance to see, or my father got a chance to see his daughter, was on the prison yard. And you talk about that experience and the trauma living with that, all the way through the ups of being the youngest Black elected official in the country, all the way back down to the lows of being in Charleston, South Carolina, 5 years ago, when my good friend Clemente Pinckney was gunned down in Bible study along with 8 others, just because of the color of their skin. And Russ, the thing that I point out to people is this: my father's 75 now, and I'm 35, and we have many of the same shared experiences. Whether or not he was burying Goodman, Schwerner, and Cheney, or he was thinking about the 4 little girls in the 16th Street Baptist Church. I now have the Charleston Massacre with Clemente and 8 others. I have Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and now George Floyd. And, people want solutions. People are in the streets not just for George Floyd today. People are in the streets because of systemic injustice and systemic racism that's plagued our country for 400 years now.
Bakari, I want to thank you, man, for taking our last-minute call and being there for us. And, of course, this is Bakari Sellers, former South Carolina State Representative, CNN contributor, and his new book. I listen, these stories, what you just told me right there, has me wanting to buy. I was going to buy it anyway. My Vanishing Country by Bakari Sellers. Please pick up that book. You can learn something from this brother, man. This dude is on a different level. He really is. Bakari, again, thank you so much for joining us this morning, sir.
And thank you for giving a platform to all of these voices. It's hard for people just to go back to work and do business as normal on this Monday.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being an outlet so we can talk, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, take care now.